A friend of mine was commenting about one of these videos a few months ago and said, well, there you go down one of your rabbit holes again. I'm proud of my rabbit holes. I'd rather go and find out new things at random than circle the drain of things I already know. So what do I mean by rabbit holes? It's following a line of thought that isn't structured in an existing kind of academic framework. You come up with the most surprising things. And the other week, I had one of those rabbit holes. Let me take you down it.
I'll tell you a story.
It starts with me watching randomly the old television show Wyatt Earp with its truly awful title
It
song.
was lawless, but one man was flawless, and his is the story you hear. Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp.
So as a result of that, I wanted to remind myself of what Wyatt Earp actually looked like. So I found this newly discovered photograph. It's from the year 1879, and it's a photograph of the Earp family and friends. And among the friends is Doc Holliday. But the gunfight in the OK Corral, which is where Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp were both involved, was in fact in October 1881. So judging from the evidence of the date of this photograph, Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday were firm family friends. So that doesn't make sense, because in most of the films about the subject, Doc Holliday meets Wyatt Earp.
You'd be doing me a favor if you would call me either Wyatt or Earp. Not both.
All right. Wyatt. Call me Doc.
So to confirm that Wyatt Earp actually knew Doc Holliday, I looked into other books and movies. And of course, the famous gunfight at the OK Corral popped out. Remember, it starred Burt Lancaster as Wyatt Earp. And now here's where the rabbit hole bit of this comes in. I was suddenly reminded that my father's favorite movie was Run Silent, Run Deep, which starred Burt Lancaster and my mother's favorite heartthrob, Clark Gable. So in true rabbit hole fashion, I looked it up.
Time we reach Area 7, I want it down to 33.
33, sir?
33's right.
Yes, sir. Secure from battle station, sir?
Yes, Chip. Take the con, Mr. Cartwright.
Aye, aye, sir. Secure from battle stations. Secure.
But wait, there are two other actors in this scene. A very young Don Rickles and Eddie Foy III. Eddie Foy III died in 2018. In his early career, yes, he was an actor, but he was also the best-known talent agent in Hollywood.
Eddie Foy started his career as a casting director at Screen Gems in 1963, and by 1965, Chuck Freeds, president of Screen Gems, hailed Eddie as the most instinctive casting director for finding new talent.
But if that was Eddie Foy III, what about Eddie Foy II? Now, he was known as Eddie Foy Jr., and he was an entertainer in his own right.
You cannot see in Gay Paris in London or in Cork the queens you'll meet on any street in old New York.
Eddie Foy Jr.'s real claim to fame was that he was the best impersonator of his dad, and his dad, the real Eddie Foy, was the legendary entertainer whose act included his family, the Seven Little Foys. There was even a movie about the Seven Little Foys starring Bob Hope.
And a long time ago, I was the second kid from the right on that stage. That's Eddie Jr. up front with our father. The year is 1913, and this was our opening at the Palace on Broadway. The other whirlwind dancers are my brothers and sisters, Irving, Madeline, Mary, Richard, and Brian. We kids had finally made the big time, proving once and for all one of the axioms of show business: you don't need talent, just courage.
Now, Eddie Foy Jr. played his dad, the real Eddie Foy, in several movies and TV shows. Here he is opposite James Cagney, who's playing another Broadway great and a rival of Eddie Foy's, George M. Cohan.
He dances, eh? When does he get time to practice? When you write your own plays, you don't have to practice. Cohan's done all right. He's given the world Yankee Doodle Dandy. What's Foy done for his country?
He gave him 7 kids.
And here's a later TV version of the story from 1964. Eddie Foy Jr. once again is playing his dad. And guess which family is representing the 7 little Foys?
Dressing room and newer kids, wasn't it nice?
Yes, we remember, Daddy, it was just paradise.
Just you and I and a couple of trunks and 6 or 7 mice.
Forever the life with us.
And now you'll see why I love rabbit holes. Eddie Foy Jr. played his dad in a Western movie. Foy has been hired to perform at a saloon, and he's kidnapped to play at the rival saloon.
I've come for you, Foy.
Oh, yes? I'll be ready in a minute. So there's a big crowd over at the Bellow Union?
I wouldn't know. You ain't going there.
What did you say?
I said you wasn't going to the Belly Union. You're going to do your act at the Palace of Pleasure.
Why, there must be some mistake. The Palace didn't make me an offer, but my contract calls for...
Don't talk so much and finish up. We'll pay you your dough, but you better be funny.
Oh, yes. I'll be funny, all right. I'll do my best. Might be a little nervous, but I guess that happens.
And who do you think is there to make sure that justice prevails? Wyatt Earp.
Stop it and come down off of there. Come with me, Mr. Foy. You belong across the street.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Go and drop him.
Tell me, please, Eddie Foy didn't know Wyatt Earp. He did. Looking at his autobiography, Clowning Through Life, Eddie Foy says that at one point he was being looked after by Wyatt Earp and Bat Masterson and Doc Holliday at a saloon in which he was playing. Then gunshots broke out. Everyone dropped to the floor at once. Bat Masterson was just in the act of dealing in a game of Spanish Monte with Doc Holliday, and they flattened out like pancakes on the floor. I thought I was pretty agile myself, but those fellows had me beaten by seconds. But here's the kicker, rabbit hole fans. Not only did they know each other, but there's a report that Eddie Foy was playing the Tombstone Theatre on the 26th of October, 1881, the day of the gunfight at the OK Corral.
It's a smoky, bloody mess. Billy Clanton, Frank McLowry, Tom McLowry are lying in the street, dead or dying. Virgil Earp shot through the leg. Morgan Earp is shot through the shoulders and badly injured. Doc Holliday's grazed.
Who's left standing without a scratch, with bullet holes in his clothing? Wyatt Earp, our hero.
So there's the rabbit hole journey, from Wyatt Earp to Burt Lancaster, to Clark Gable, to Eddie Foy III, to Eddie Foy Jr., to Eddie Foy the real thing, and then miraculously back to Wyatt Earp. I love rabbit holes, don't you?